What's going on, everybody? So, let's break this down, because Stephen A. Smith went off on First Take about this whole situation involving the Sacramento Kings, the Los Angeles Lakers, and this idea floating around about Austin Reeves. And let me tell you, Stephen A. didn't hold back. First of all, Stephen A. pointed out that Sacramento is clearly hunting for playmakers. They don't need another guy who's just a scorer. They already have that. They need someone who can run the offense, stabilize things, and bring leadership to a team that wants to take the next step. And that's why names like Dennis Schroeder and even Russell Westbrook have been thrown around. The Kings are looking at every possible option. But here's where it gets interesting. Stephen A. said there's also been real talk about Sacramento being aggressive, even trying to move guys like Malik Monk, shedding contracts, and finding ways to make a splash. On top of that, they're chasing Jonathan Kuminga, trying to get in the mix with Golden State to see if the Warriors are willing to let him go. That shows you they're not sitting back. They want to level up right now. And then Stephen A. brought up the idea that came from Sports Illustrated. The trade proposal, Keegan Murray, and a 2027 first-round pick for Austin Reeves. And the way Stephen A. framed it, this is where the debate really takes off. Now, let's be real here. Stephen A. said he understands the intrigue. He gets why Sacramento would want Reeves. The kid is tough, he's smart, he's battle-tested, and he's shown he can play big under the lights in Los Angeles. You put him next to De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis, and suddenly, you've got another weapon who can handle pressure. And Sacramento fans would love a guy like him. But Stephen A. said the other side of this is critical. For the Lakers, Austin Reeves is their single best trade chip. He's not untouchable. No one is outside of LeBron, but he's the one guy whose value around the league is high. Stephen A. said Lakers fans need to stop treating him like either the second coming of Michael Jordan or like trash who should be dumped for a bag of chips. He's neither. He's a really good player, and if you move him, you better get serious value in return. And here's where Stephen A. really hammered the point. Is Keegan Murray plus a first-round pick enough? Keegan Murray has potential, no doubt. He's young, versatile, and Sacramento believes he can grow into a two-way difference maker. A 2027 first could be gold if Sacramento falls off by then. But Stephen A. said the Lakers have to think bigger. He literally said, if you're giving up your best asset, you better be turning that into flexibility, future assets, and the ability to make another move. Serious? That's how you build around LeBron and Anthony Davis in the short term while protecting your long-term future. He even added that Sacramento might be willing to give Austin the kind of contract the Lakers are hesitating on. And that's another layer. The Kings could lock him up and make him a core piece for years. But for the Lakers, moving him clears salary, opens up another roster spot, and gives them a player in Murray who's cheaper and controllable for longer. That's why this whole thing is so complicated. Stephen A. made it crystal clear. He doesn't hate the idea, but he's not sold either. He said, if he were Rob Pelinka, he'd be asking for more. Maybe you throw in another young piece, maybe you adjust the protections on that first-round pick. But one thing is certain, the Lakers cannot afford to shortchange themselves with Austin Reeves. Not now. Not when the clock is ticking on LeBron's window. And let me tell you, Stephen A. was fired up when he closed this segment. He said point blank, this is Los Angeles we're talking about. This is the Lakers. You don't trade away your most valuable piece unless you're absolutely certain you're getting the kind of return that keeps you in the championship conversation. Anything less is unacceptable. So that's where it stands. The Kings are aggressive, the Lakers are evaluating, and Austin Reeves' future is hanging in the balance. Stephen A. Smith made it clear this is a major decision, and it's one that could define both franchises over the next several years. So here's where Stephen A. Smith really took things to the next level on First Take. He said, flat out, this conversation about Austin Reeves is not just about one trade proposal. It's about whether the Lakers are truly maximizing the value of their most important trade chip. Stephen A. broke it down like this. Sure, on paper, a deal like Keegan Murray and a first-round pick sounds respectable. You're saving money, you're clearing some cap space, And you're adding a young forward with size who can shoot and rebound. That opens up room for another addition, maybe even a Malik Beasley type. So if you ask the question, would you trade Austin Reeves for Murray, Beasley, and a first? Stephen A. admitted, some fans would absolutely say yes. Others would scream no. And he understands both sides. But here's the thing, Stephen A. made it crystal clear. He doesn't hate the trade, but he doesn't love it either. He called it fine, but not enough. Because at the end of the day, the Lakers don't have a stockpile of assets to play with. They can't afford to settle. Every move has to count. Every trade has to be precise. And when it comes to Reeves, Stephen A. said, you need to hold out for the perfect fit or the perfect package. Otherwise, you're making a mistake. And then he brought up another wrinkle, Keon Ellis. Stephen A. said if Sacramento was willing to put Ellis into the deal, that's where it gets really interesting. Ellis is the kind of guard who fits seamlessly alongside stars. He defends, he spaces the floor, he plays his role. That's the exact profile you want next to a LeBron James or an Anthony Davis. Combine that with Keegan Murray, plus the possibility of a first-round pick, and suddenly you've got real flexibility. You've got pieces you can use to stay competitive now and to package in bigger deals later. Stephen A. reminded everyone that Murray and Ellis are still young, both around 25. That means they're not just rentals. They can grow with the team. Murray gives you insurance at the forward spot, especially with Rui Hachimura on the roster. He's 6'8", with length and versatility. And while he's not a lockdown defender, his numbers show he can hold his own. Pair that with his ability to hit threes and rebound, and you're looking at a player who can slot into multiple lineups and give you depth at a position of need. But Stephen A. emphasized this. Just because the package is decent doesn't mean the Lakers should rush. He said patience is the real play here. Why? Because there's always a desperate team around the corner. There are multiple franchises right now searching for a reliable playmaker, and Austin Reeves is exactly that. Stephen A. said the Lakers should wait until one of those teams feels the pressure, until one of them is ready to sell the farm, as he put it, for a player like Reeves. And here's where Stephen A. really got loud. He reminded everyone that every few months in the NBA, a new star hits the market. Maybe it's Giannis, maybe it's Jokic, maybe it's someone else we haven't even thought about yet. The point is, stars become available, and the Lakers need to be in position to pounce when that happens. If you trade Reeves now for a package that's just fine, you could end up kicking yourself later when the real opportunity arrives. He even floated the idea of the Lakers using a deal like this as part of something bigger, a multi-team trade that nets them the type of two-way wings they've been desperate for. He brought up names like Trey Murphy and Herb Jones, guys who could really shift the balance of this roster. That's the kind of forward thinking he wants to see from Rob Pelinka. Not just reacting, not just settling, but being strategic. And Stephen A. closed with this. The Lakers cannot afford to sell low on Austin Reeves. This is about maximizing your window, maximizing LeBron, and positioning yourself for the next star who wants to wear purple and gold. Anything less, and you're just wasting time. That was Stephen A.'s message. Be smart, be patient, don't settle. And above all else, make sure the Lakers are always in the best position to win, both today and tomorrow. And here's how Stephen A. Smith wrapped it up, and man, he did not hold back. He said, if the Lakers are going to trade Austin Reeves, it better be for a need, period. Not just another version of Rui Hachimura, not just another forward who overlaps with what you already have. That's the problem with Keegan Murray. He's a nice player, solid size, decent shooter, good rebounder. But does he change your team? Does he fill a hole? Stephen A. said no, he doesn't. He made it plain, if you're moving Reeves, you need someone who immediately solves a problem. That's why he lit up when Keon Ellis's name came up, because Ellis gives you exactly what the Lakers need. Defense on the perimeter, energy, hustle, and the ability to play alongside stars without demanding the ball. That's the type of player who makes a difference in New York, in LA, anywhere. Stephen A. even painted the picture. Imagine this. Luka Doncic at the 1, Keon Ellis at the 2, Andrew Wiggins on the wing, LeBron James at the 4, and DeAndre Ayton anchoring the middle. "Give us the championship now," Stephen A. shouted, because with that lineup, the only thing stopping you is health. That's how much he believes Ellis fits. And he backed it up with the numbers. Ellis plays. That's the key. Best ability, availability. 76 games last season. Steady minutes, reliable production. Maybe his three-point percentage dipped a little, but the man has proven he can hit shots at a high clip before. And more importantly, he does the little things. He rebounds, he defends, he hustles, he makes plays that don't always show up in the box score. Those are the players championship teams need. Stephen A. hammered it home again. Keon Ellis plus a first-round pick? He's packing Austin Reeves' bags himself. That's the kind of return you can work with, because it gives you flexibility for now and for later. You can build around that. You can use it to springboard into bigger deals. You can actually grow your roster in meaningful ways. But Keegan Murray alone? That's just not it. That's a lateral move. That's not solving anything. And if you're the Lakers, you don't have time for lateral move. You've got LeBron James. You've got Anthony Davis. Your margin for error is 0. You need to win now while still protecting your future. So Stephen A. closed with this. Don't just make a trade to make a trade. Don't just chase a name. Be smart. Be strategic. Make sure every single move addresses a real need, because anything less is wasting time, wasting LeBron's final years, and wasting the chance to bring another banner to Los Angeles. That's the bottom line.